My name is Doug Leasure, and I want to thank you for joining me for another training session for Active Planner. And today what I want to cover is what Active Planner calls templates. This is a powerful feature that enables you to create a plan sheet with the appropriate rows, columns, calculations, cell formulas, and formatting, and then to quickly and easily derive many copies from that one template. Now, when I create a brand new plan sheet, one of the options I have when I create it is to specify for the type a template definition sheet. So when I create a brand new sheet, a brand new plan sheet, I can create it as a template. But most people prefer to go ahead and use an existing sheet and turn it into a template. And so that's the approach I want to take and show you how to do that today. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start with one of the plan sheets that we've been working on in our training here. And let's start with the sections plan sheet. I'm going to open that up and we're going to save it. So we'll just save that with the name template. And let's take a look at, let's do a little bit of cleanup on this first. So we don't need this stuff up here. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we have two sections in there that we've created. That looks pretty good. Let's see, let's go ahead and add a few rows in here. Let's say in addition to the two salary G&A section, we want to insert a few rows for our allocations. And so that would be account 8910 through 8940. Okay, so there we just simply added a few rows at the bottom. And let's say we want to do a source net change for the prior year actual, and for our budget columns, let's say that our intent for these particular accounts would be to manually enter the budget values for each period. So what we'll do is just simply select those and adjust the formatting. Let's see, we want to unprotect those and set the background color to something that will really stand out. We'll choose yellow. Okay, so now we have a good look and feel, the right formatting, the right calculations, cell formulas, etc., to accomplish the purpose that we need for this particular plan sheet. So let's save that, and the next thing we need to do is go through the steps then of taking this existing plan sheet and turning it into a template. So what are those steps? Well, let's walk our way through them. The first step is to go to the sheet and then the sheet options, to the other tab, and down here there's an option under other options that says sheet template. So put a check mark here, and this will turn the sheet into a template. And the next thing is, for each of the sheets that will be derived from here, do we want to publish those values or not? And for any of our detail sheets, like the department expense sheets typically are, we do want to publish those. So we'll go ahead and leave that turned on. Okay. The next thing we want to do is look at the various view options here, and let's see. This template row action is a column that's automatically added when we turn a sheet into a template. Honestly, we typically never use this column, so we'll hide that. Let's see, what else do we need here? Let's go ahead and make sure we can see the type, parent row, and row ID as we're creating this. Okay, looks like our sheet is defined correctly as far as the type, row ID, parent row ID, accounts, etc. So the next thing we need to do is we need to think about this sheet in terms of what's going to happen when I want to generate or derive a copy of this sheet for each of my various departments. What is it that's going to make this sheet unique for each desired department? And the answer to that question is found in the account structure. The segment 2 and segment 3 represent the location and the department number. So it's really my second and third segment that would need to vary from one sheet to another, from one department to another. And so in Active Planner, when we are creating a template and wanting to define all the possible sheets that will be derived from it, what we do is we mask or we put question marks in the second and third segments. And so when this sheet is generated, that is when it derives sheets from this one template, it will replace these question marks with the values that we designate. So for any accounts that have been entered in a sheet apart from a section, we would just put question marks in those account numbers. Now for the sections, remember the section definition is held here. So we'll go to the section manager. I don't want to change it on the sheet. I want to change the definition of the section. So where it's currently 6,000 through 61999, 6199, and 6200 through 8500, I want to modify the beginning and ending range and put the masking in here. So let's maintain the section and change the range. Okay, and we'll go ahead and regenerate the rows. And then we'll maintain the G&A section as well, and just do the same thing. And regenerate the rows. Okay. Now the template sheet is looking a little strange perhaps to you right now, and that's because when it generates a sheet, it will fill in the appropriate fully qualified account number, replacing second and third segments with what we specify. So therefore, it will generate the correct section and range of accounts within that section for the salary expense, for the G&A, and it will do a similar thing to replace these account numbers with a fully qualified account number based on the second and third segment that we will specify. So the last thing we want to do is go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup here. And basically that's just simply a matter of, for the sections themselves, what we want to do is to go ahead and clear the values only. So we'll do this for the section. Okay. And now we have a correctly defined template sheet. So let's save this. And now when we look at the template sheet, okay, the first thing I want you to do is to notice that there is a new icon here. Everything is in blue with a T in the lower right-hand corner, indicating that this is a template sheet. So the next step is for us to define the sheet or sheets that we want to generate from this one template. Simple matter of right-clicking here and saying that we want to define derivative sheets. It brings up this little screen that allows us to insert as many rows as we want to define, one row for each of our desired templates, derivative sheets, sorry. And so for the first one, we went. Let's just call it test, and that'll be our sheet key and description. We're going to define who the manager is, the initial status code, and the next thing we need to do is to define what we want to pass into this for the second and the third segment. So I'm just going to space over the first segment, and let's say that we want to define location 300 for department 700. Remember, we put question marks for the masking in the second and third segment, so now we want to tell it what to put into the second, what to put into the third segment when it generates the sheets. So we'll define under the value column what we need to pass into it, what we need to replace the question marks with. And now we're going to save this, and there's a button here that says Generate from Template. So the Generate Sheets from Template screen comes up, and we can say that we want to generate this sheet called Test. We also have the option to calculate it. Once it's done generating, go ahead and refresh all the calculations on that sheet. And then the next thing is whether or not we want to modify the derivative or to replace the derivative. And typically we want to replace the derivative, which is to delete it and recreate it from scratch. The reason is that not all changes that we make to a template can be correctly pushed out to the existing plan sheets. Sometimes, depending on the changes we can make, could be fairly significant, and so it can actually mess up the derivative sheets when we use the modify option. The modify option is where it opens up the plan sheet and just tries to compare the new template to what's in the derive sheet. Try to estimate what is different and to make those changes. It doesn't always work, so the cleanest way to do it is to use the replace derivative, in which case it will delete the derivative and replace it with a brand new copy. If you're in a situation where you need to use the modify, suggestion is just simply always do some significant testing on that before you use the modify. Okay, so we've told it we want to generate the sheet called test, and we want to refresh the calculations once it's done. We're going to replace the sheet, and we'll hit the OK, and it will create the sheet, and now it's processing, which means it's going through and refreshing the calculations, and now it's done. So we can exit the define derivative sheet screen, and we'll save the changes. And what we'll see is that it created a sheet here called test. That's what we told it to create, and that's what it did create. The icon for this is a little bit different than we have seen in the past. This is an icon with a blue background, indicating that this is a sheet that has been derived from our template. If we open up the plan sheet, this derivative sheet, we can see that it did create the section based on the second and third segments that we passed into it. So it created a section for the entire sheet for location 300 and department 700. The correct section for our salary expense, the correct section for our G&A expense. And then for the allocations, it created the 4 accounts for the allocations. And you can see that it applied the correct cell formulas and formatting and calculations as we defined. So it's just that quick and easy to take a sheet, turn it into a template, and then to define sheets from that. But let's go ahead and take it a little bit further and build on what we've learned so far. Okay. One of the things I want to make sure I show you, just to emphasize one of the concepts here. We said that for the allocation, the intent was that we were going to type in some values here. That these would be entered by the department manager. So we'll just throw some values in and save the plan sheet. Okay. So now when I go back to the template and we look at the generation options that we have. So when we generate the sheet, we can generate it, refresh the calculations. Okay. And I was saying that typically we want to replace the derivative. So I just want to emphasize that if I replace the derivative, it is going to delete the plan sheet called test. And when it deletes it, those values that have been entered will be deleted along with the plan sheet. It will correctly recreate the new derivative sheet. But that area where the department manager has entered his values, those will be empty again because it will create, it will create a new sheet based on the template where the template does not have any values in that bottom section. So what I'm saying this for is to emphasize the idea that you don't typically want to regenerate your sheets while you're in the middle of your budget process. You want to wait till the values have all been entered and uploaded to your general ledger and saved there. Okay, again, if you find that you need to modify, let's say because the values have already been entered then by your department managers, please do extensive testing on that before you run it across all of your derived sheets. Okay. Just to emphasize how quickly and easy it is to regenerate our sheets. We'll go ahead and, well, you know what, let's make a quick change to our template first. Let's say that what we want to do is to go ahead and change what we've done here. And so let's say that we're going to change our methodology here, and we want to do this very similar thing to what we did here with our other section. So we just want to take the default increase and apply it to our allocated amounts as well, allocated accounts. And we no longer want to enter values here, so let's change our cell formatting, protect the column again, and set it back to white. We'll just apply that to all of the cells. So just want to show you how quickly and easy we can modify a template and then push those changes out into the derivative sheet. So what we're going to do is right click on the template, say that we want to generate from the template, and we'll go ahead and generate, recalculate, replace. Okay, so I created the template, and now it's recalculating the rows within, refreshing the calculations for the rows in the plan sheet, and it's done. If we take a look at the resulting sheet, we can see that it has been modified, and the changes have been pushed out to this plan sheet. Oops, forgot to put in our calculation here. Okay, not a big deal. Okay, but what we want to do now is we want to actually take a look at replacing what we've done previously with our new plan sheet, and we're going to replace these sheets that we created previously with new plan sheets that we're going to create from our templates. So to start with, let's look at the definition of our derivative sheets, and we don't want to use test anymore, but we want to actually replace the department 000 700. So this is our corporate facilities. and the value will be 000700. So this is what it takes to recreate the Department 700 Corporate Facilities plan sheet. Now what I wanted to do is take a quick second and explain to you that that this is actually problematic for us to have a sheet with the same name as an existing plan sheet. That is, this is a sheet that was not derived from the derivative. And so if we attempt to derive this sheet, okay, then we'll get a message saying this sheet already exists and it's not a template generated sheet. Therefore, generating this sheet has been skipped. Okay, just a safety guard so that we don't accidentally write over top of an existing sheet with something we're creating from our template. Now, in our case, we know that we actually want to create or to recreate this particular sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete these sheets, because we're going to recreate them here in just a moment from our template. So, so let's go ahead and delete all of these sheets. And I'm just going to use a little trick here to quickly delete a bunch of plan sheets. Okay, and so now we need to just simply go back to our template. And first thing I want to do is let's take a quick second. The template is actually not just a generic template, but this is really something that we want to, that we've defined for a particular purpose. That is, this is a template that represents our department expense. So it's always good to name the plan sheet in a way that represents what you will be using it for. So this is a department expense template. That's the purpose of it. So we'll give it a name that represents its intended use. Okay? And then secondarily, let's take a quick look at the definition. And let's say we really don't want to do anything with the allocated accounts down here at the bottom. So let's just take a quick second and remove that. And then we'll save the new template definition. Okay, next thing we need to do is to take a look at the definition of all the sheets we would want to derive from here. So I've deleted Department 00700, so now it's free to be recreated from the template. Let's add a few rows here. And now let's create Department 00800 and 100 800. 200 800. Oops. 300 800, and finally 400 800. So corporate facilities, corporate IT, North America IT, and this would be South America. Oops. Let's see, 300 is Europe, and 400 is Asia. And now we need to tell it what values to replace those question marks with. So 00800 for corporate IT, 100 800 for North America IT, 200 800, and finally 400 800. So let's save it and let's go ahead and generate all of our sheets. Now I could calculate all of them too, but let's just recalculate corporate facilities. I'm going to replace all. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to do some testing first. We're going to drag this into position on the tree-like structure again. We're going to go ahead and do a quick consolidation. Just want to make sure that everything is working correctly before we do the rest of the work, before we recalculate all the sheets. So we'll do a little bit of testing first. I'm going to exit this, and let's just simply take our sheets and drag them back to the appropriate position on the tree-like structure. Okay, so we calculated the corporate facilities when we generated it. And so we have actuals, budgets, and even a few current year actuals. So let's make sure that everything rolls up into our facilities summary. So let's take a quick second and clear these. And we'll make sure that our consolidation works correctly. And it does. Looking pretty good here. Consolidate the actuals, the budget. All right, so things are looking pretty good. So we'll just go ahead and save this. Okay, I see that we have the allocated accounts down here still. So let's go ahead and delete those then from our template. Oh, sorry about that. My fault. I put the definition against the old template derivative, not my new template department expense template. Okay, not a big deal. Let me show you this trick. I'm just going to highlight everything here and do a Control-C copy. And now I can delete everything here. Now this is deleting the definition, not the plan sheet. The derive sheets are still here. In fact, they're still in the same position. But let me go to my department expense template and take a look at the definition here. And so if we just add the rows back in here, highlight everything into Control-V paste, and I've effectively moved the definition from one template to another. So let's save this and regenerate. I'm going to do the replace. One of the things I wanted to show you is that we are recreating the sheets in the same position in the template. So when I drag them there initially, I can regenerate the derivative sheets, and it will recreate them in the same position on the tree-like structure. All right. The last thing I wanted to look at here regarding the department expense sheets is just the concept of how quickly and easily I can extend the definition. So let's say we want to just simply add some sheets in for facilities, right? So we have the corporate facilities, but let's say we wanted to also add location 100 as well as location 200 for the facilities department. So that would be our North America facilities. as well as our South America facilities. And then we need to tell it what value to create for these two derivative sheets. So it's 100, 700 for our North America, and 200, 700 will make the right sheet for South America. All right, and then you can see that we can very quickly generate the new sheet for facilities North America and facilities South America. So it's very, very easy to extend once we've created a template, to extend the capability and to create another, as our company grows, to add a few additional departments. Very quick and easy to do that. Now, when it creates the sheet for the very first time, it does put it here under the unassigned sheet because it doesn't know where it belongs on the tree-like structure. So we do need to just simply, one time, drag it into position. Okay, now that we have learned how to create the templates from an existing sheet and to define the derivatives, the next thing we want to do is just take a look at just how quickly could we take our summary level sheet and turn that into a template and recreate each of our summary sheets from the new template. Okay, so what I want to do is to go ahead and I guess first of all is I know that we're going to have to recreate the tree-like structure here. So let me go ahead and just drag these things. We'll just drag everything out of here. So let's see if I delete the sheet and I don't delete the derivatives, the attached sheets, it will delete the plan sheet and put all of its child sheets here under the unassigned. So we'll do the same thing for the facilities summary. Delete it, but only this one sheet. And then for the summary sheet, I want to turn this into a template for the summary sheets. Okay, so we'll turn that into a summary template. And then let's take a look at the sheet. Actually, I want to go ahead and save it, and we'll do an update existing record, replacing what was there with a new sheet that is going to be our template sheet. What is it that I need to do as I create this for each of the department roll-ups, the department summaries? And the answer is actually, in this case, in the summary sheet, nothing. We don't have anything in here that is any segments that are unique to the particular department, because we've removed the segment numbers here. So there's really nothing I need to do to make this unique for each resulting summary, department summary. So all we need to do is just simply take the sheet and turn it into a template. So we'll go here to the sheet options, the other tab, and we'll say that we want to make this a template sheet. No, since it's a summary, we do not want to publish. And what do we want to do with the sheet view options? We just simply need to remove the template row action from being visible, as well as the row ID and parent row ID. Okay, things look pretty good. What about the frozen columns? 1, 2, 3 looks good, so we'll leave it at 3. Okay, so we turned it into a template, adjusted anything that we need to for the derivative sheets. As far as the view options, nothing we need to do with the masking, so we'll just save it. and move it down here to the unassigned. And now we'll just tell it what sheets we want to define from here. Okay, we know that we're going to need a new overhead summary. And let's see, Alan was the manager of that sheet, so we'll assign him to be the manager. Nothing we need to do with the value because we didn't mask anything in the template sheet. And next thing we're going to need then is the facilities summary. And the IT summary. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and put a space in here to make it look a little bit better. And assign the sheet managers. Okay, let's go ahead and generate those sheets. Now, in a summary level sheet, we don't have any calculations, so there's nothing to calculate here. We'll go ahead and create the sheets. And that's done. So now we just need to recreate our tree-like structure. So we have an overhead summary, and underneath of that we'll have our IT summary and our facilities summary. And this whole thing goes up here under the plan. And now we're going to put our departments back under the summary sheets. So facilities, IT, and it doesn't matter what order we do these in, so we'll go ahead and pick up all the facilities ones first, and then move the IT ones in position. Okay, so the tree-like structure is back in place. The final thing I want to do, since we didn't refresh the calculations when we created these, I'm going to do it from the plan processing. Go to the processing tab, and we want to go ahead and both generate and consolidate, or consolidate the sheets, and refresh the subsheet calculations in before we do that consolidation. So we'll go ahead and fire that off and let it refresh the calculations across the entire tree, as well as consolidate our values up through the various summary level sheets. And I'll go ahead and we'll give it a moment to finish that. And that's complete. And so now we have our tree-like structure, and we've okay, if we take a look at the overhead summary, you can see that we have all the values aggregated there from all the plan sheets below. All right, and so again, just the concept that if we wanted to extend our tree-like structure above for all of the departments, all of the locations, it's a very simple matter now of going to each of our templates and adding additional rows for each of the sheets, whether it's 2 more departments or 200 departments. It's a simple matter of adding the rows and defining the values for each of the department sheets that we would want to generate from the same template. And in a very similar way, we can now quickly create additional summary level sheets by just adjusting the derivative definition and adding more rows for each of the departments. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to cover related to templates. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you next time.